Hey guys, what's up? It is Nocturnal Gaming here. Wanted to go over a tournament that we had today. You can see the rules at the beginning. You can pause the video if you want to go back to that and see the rules. But basically, it was you could have 2 frigates, 2 destroyers, 2 cruisers, or 1 battleship. You couldn't have 2 of the same ship. And that was the layout for all 3 rounds. So we had our first round. This is going to go fast forward through here a little bit. You can see like in the first lobby there that it was 4 versus 3. Pause it here because we had a disconnect and we play tournaments every week, multiple tournaments every week. We never have any disconnect issues, but for whatever reason, coincidentally with these opponents or one of these opponents, we always have disconnect issues. I don't know what that's about. Could just be a coincidence. New game update dropped. Who knows? But be that what it is, you know? So anyway, this is going to fast forward through the match. We ended up losing this match. It was a 4 versus 3, then ended up being a 3 versus 3 after the disconnect. So match 2, we go in and right off, you can see here that there's 2 Zumwalts on the team, which is a disqualification per the rules. So we start this match. We note this, I think, in chat here a little bit. Judge didn't bring it up, which is interesting. Like usually they'll go through and check right after the match start, and they'll say, "Hey, you've got this banned item or whatever." Judge didn't say anything about it. Just went on about the game. We ended up playing the match out. It was whatever. We knew it was a DQ, so we just played the match out. And we'd bring it up after the fact. Interesting to note on this is that later on, when you get to match 3, they stop that match 3, and they go back to replay this match is the reason they gave us later after a bunch of going back and forth in Discord trying to get some information about it, because they stopped the 3rd match there was like 30 seconds left. And then they recreate the match for match 2 and said that he had given incorrect info to the to the recorder. But my point is this: is that you're not allowed to change gear, if on a rematch. So we would have to restart the match with the same ships, which means they still disqualify. So why are you going to rematch a DQ? It makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. Really, it was quite confusing for us because they weren't telling us at the time. Like you'll see here, this match as it goes through the fast forward, they didn't say anything to us about it. Like we mentioned it in Discord, in the back channel while we're in the port, that hey, they used 2 Zumwalts. You're not allowed to do that. That should have been a DQ. So they ended up awarding that match to us. Before we started the 3rd match. It's going to fast forward through these a little bit. I didn't take anything out of it. I just, I skipped through it really fast so that you'd have the entire continuity. I just sped it up because I didn't want to spend an hour on this video. So here's the 3rd lobby. So this is what we thought was the 3rd match. So this time the map is 2 Samurai. We were strategizing. There's no audio in this. We were strategizing what we're going to do on this map, whatnot. And you'll see that when the other team gets into the lobby, there are 3 frigates on their team, which is not allowed. You're allowed 2 frigates, 2 destroyers, 2 cruisers, 1 battleship. So they have 3 frigates. And we're like, okay, we're looking at another disqualification. This is going to be it. Like, okay. So you can see the timer at the top. We're down to 1 minute. I'm going to slow it down here once it gets to like the 1:15 mark. So you see we have all 4 members. They have 3 frigates, which is a DQ, so 1 guy drops. You see the player, the second one down to level 47, he's got the Zumwalt. And that's what he's used for the previous matches. He used the Zumwalt. And so we're down to like 40 seconds. The organizer ends the match. And we're like, what was that about? So, it seems like, because this was going to be a DQ, like I don't think the guy would have had time to change ships out and get back into the match. before 30 seconds was up. Maybe you could have. I don't know. We'll never know because the judge stopped the match. Now, if you look here, they restarts what I thought was the third match, but he's back on Polar Frontier, which is the second one. And he said, oh, well, we got to replay that one. He didn't tell us this until like an hour later either. Like we were sending videos and arguing with him, you know, like, hey, what is going on here? Because this looks suspicious. It looks sketchy. Like, you know, it looks like you're showing favoritism to a team by giving them a complete out, because it was going to be a 4 versus 3 because or a DQ if the player stayed. So when these players come back in, you'll notice that the one player that had the Zumwalt is now in a CN type 058. So he changed ships. Now we thought this was a rematch, and so we were like kind of hung up on if this is a rematch for them stopping it for no reason, you know, then you can't change ships. But he said, no, it's for the second one, but you still can't change ships. So either way you go, it's still a DQ. So there's no reason to replay a disqualification match when you had, you know, disqualifying ships. There's no reason to replay that match. But here we are on Polar Frontier again, replaying it, thinking it was the third match, which was supposed to be 2 samurai. And so right now, as it stands, they're saying that we have to reschedule that last match. So you see here, I said different match. What's going on? Different map, I mean. So they're wanting us to replay this third match on Monday. And as far as I'm concerned, we should just they should just call it a win for us, because it was going to be a DQ or it was going to be a 4 versus 3. Now, sure, somebody could have disconnected again. I don't know. But if we do rematch, it should be a 4 versus 3. Like, you totally like stop the match to help these guys get their ships and stuff in order. Like, am I seeing this wrong? Like, am I out of line here with thinking this? Like, how should this get remedied? You know, to make it, you know, consistent and fair. Like, I don't understand what they're doing here. I don't want to accuse anybody of anything, but this looks extremely suspicious. Like, you stopped. I mean, they basically stopped it for no reason. So anyway, that's it. That's all I got. It's going to pause right there. I'm going to wrap it up. Let me know in your comments what you think. Because I'm really kind of annoyed with this. Like, we do a lot of tournaments, and we just, a few times we run into this kind of mess. And I don't want to say much more about it than that. You let me know what you think in the comments. I appreciate it, guys, as always. Cheers. Well, let's see you later.